All right, so we've talked a little bit about implementing, how you would implement, how you would use this software, a bit of an overview of all the different parts and pieces, and probably by the time you watch this video, we might have added some things as well. And we'll certainly add some videos to kind of document those changes as they go, or provide some text documentation. But let's talk about actually starting to use this, and I guess maybe implementation is a better word, but let's talk about how to start using this and getting going with it. And so here's the page you'll have, and to start, we actually have two areas in here. We have company name and company name backend. And so ultimately we want to rename these to match your company. But we actually have two sections in this, and this is something I've learned over the last couple of years, is the backend is incredibly important, because we don't want our team and different people to be able to really change stuff without permissions. And so within the Notion platform, we can essentially restrict the ability to change the backend, but then allow people to add stuff and do stuff in the front end, in the company name. And so that's kind of why there's those two sections. So really the back end, this is where actually all the data lives. And then in the front end, we're actually just looking at the data. The data is not actually there. So hopefully that makes sense. So, all right, so how do we implement this? How do we get going? So the first thing we want to do is we want to go up here to this duplicate button. So we want to click duplicate right here. So we're going to click duplicate, and it's going to bring this in. So let's go to add to private. And so this is in our private section here. And so we can start using it now, but I think the first thing we want to do is we want to go and rename this. So let's call this Corbin's Company. So this is Corbin's Company here. I know, very unique and interesting name. So Corbin's Company backend. So that's the first thing we want to do. And then the next thing is ultimately just starting to use all this. And so we can click new task. We can create a new task. We can assign this to somebody. We can add notes in here. And so, so I could say draw sketch. So this would be, maybe the name of this task would be start project. Drop sketch, print to PDF. So we can be as granular as you want. We can tag a project to it. So we can go to our project, and we can tag this to, let's go tag that to John's home. And that's really how we start actually implementing and working with this. So it's bringing it in by duplicating it, and then we can really just get to work right away. And as you go, you can certainly modify and adjust things however you need. I guess the reason why we started using Notion was its ability to be customizable. And so, for example, under projects, if we click a project here, you might say, well, we have some sort of variable, maybe this is, actually this might be a good one, conservation authority. So we have conservation authority here. So something that we could add to a project, and I did not add it. Let's add it again. Conservation authority. And then we can click here to actually add it. And so now this becomes a new variable we can track. And the idea behind that is, maybe you have some conservation authority, maybe there's some other process and piece you need to permit. And so this way you can tell your team and allow your team to know what those different elements are, and just you can track whatever you want, basically, is I think the ultimate thing. In here under project type, if we've added a bunch of project types that are common to us, but certainly you could add your own project types in there. So that's kind of a little bit about how to implement and how to get working with that. All right, so the last part of this process, I've kind of given you a little bit of a taste, I guess, actually of using it. And so right now I have this in my private pages. You can certainly share it from here by going up to the top here. But I want to add this as a new team space. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click new team space. And I'm just going to call this company. Actually, maybe we'll call it Corbin's company. And we'll click create team space. And we'll skip members for now. And really what we want to do is we want to drag this up into here. And we want to drag our backend up into here. And so now all of this is up there. You could create your backend as a separate team space. And then it kind of creates this default team space home. I'm going to delete that. And I would actually suggest you do a backend. So it'd be company backend. And so the reason why is you can change the permission about who can edit this. So again, we'll delete this page and we'll move our backend into here. And so now all of our backend is here. We can give certain people in the company, managers, people with the authority to make changes to the backend, and then people can certainly, pretty much everyone can have authority to make changes to the front end and add tasks and all that kind of stuff. So that's how you want to get this set up. Certainly, I think people can see the backend, so we can make it so they can see it, but they can't necessarily make changes to it. So that's how you would implement and start using this template.